my first question for you is CA. Speaking of systemic inequities, when we touched base to prep for this panel, and one of the things you said to me, I thought was very interesting. You said that you had already completed like a full draft of your play, All The Natalie Portmans, before you realized that you were writing about systemic poverty. And I'm curious because, I'm just curious about the process of impulse and discovery. In particular, when I look back at some of your other work that address very large themes, like I'm thinking in particular about Elroy learned his name, which is similarly relates to the prison industrial complex, or Thirst, which is a post-apocalyptic dystopian look at what the world could be in the face of how we treat our natural resources. And so I'm curious just about what is your typical process in terms of impulse, how theme manifests, and what the process of discovery is as you're writing.
Yeah. I don't know. For a long time, I used to say that I didn't feel like I was a political playwright, and I really wanted people to stop saying that. And I no longer believe that's true. But I do think that like I had this conception of like I don't see an issue in the world and think I want to write about that issue. Like I don't have that impulse. I think I know playwrights who do that, and I love their work. But I have a very hard time holding on to that. Like I can't find my way into the world. I can't find the people. I'm like I only see what's wrong. I only see what's wrong, and I can't write the play. But I think so. The plays that I've stuck with have been the plays that I just saw a person who felt small. I think my original impulse is always it's typically a woman. She's typically black. Lately, she's often queer, and there's something in this world that has made her feel small. And I fill that world in with people who either feel similarly or with people who like have never felt small in their entire life and have always felt large and like that was right. And then I try to make those people interact. And I fill the plays with all the things that I know. But I know so little about my plays when I begin them. I just sort of get nerdy and excited about stuff. And I'm like, that's really fun. Oh man, that's great. And I I build scene upon scene upon scene, like loving it but not knowing why. And people say things to me like, oh, that's about that. And I'm like, maybe, I don't know. I really, really wish that my process was less blind, but it really, really isn't. And it often takes me probably until the second draft where I take a few steps back and I see what I'm really talking about. And I think, I really do think that it's because I'm such a naturally avoidant person. I don't think I'm interpersonally avoidant, but I think when it comes to the things that I want to say about what's happening to the world and what's happening to me, I'm deeply avoidant. And so my process completely mirrors that. Like by draft 2, I'll be like, oh my God, that exact scene is from my life. What's wrong with me? Or like I'll write a detail that's really striking, and people are like, oh, that's really striking. And I'm like, and people are like, you good? And I'm like, I'm great. I'm so good. I need a therapist. But like it is this sort of, you learn, my years in college and all that stuff about, the personal is inherently political because our lives are not free of political systems. And I think that I sort of try to fill my plays with the people I've known, and the people I have known and know are all out here hurting for a variety of reasons. Some that they totally created, and some that were just handed to them by a society that does not care about them. That says that it wants to, that builds policies that pretend that some sort of care, but there are just too many people who fall through the cracks. And I think that I believe that as a person, so it inherently just finds its way into work. And that's been true of pretty much every play. I remember when I started Thirst, it's such a weird play, and I was like, why are these ladies in the woods talking about water? Like, what is going on? Oh my God, I'm married. Like, I just had no idea what this play was, and by the end, I'd written like this strange Greek tragedy where I sort of just like turned the play on its side. It was like, if men are arguing about water, what's happening to the women? And the women are being traumatized and dying. That's what's happening. Because when men fight about big things, women are made to feel small and often are harmed. And it's like there's parts of that play, like there's so much metaphor in that play that it can stand in for a lot of things. And I think people, when I had a production this summer, audiences had such odd responses to it. There are people who were just like, this is exactly like this water conflict in this place. And then I had a guy be like, this is Mad Max. And then I had a man walk up to me and be like, the black rage in this play, is that real? And I was like, yeah, man, like where are you living? Like, and like that stuff, like it continues to surprise me because I think that I'm as surprised as most people are when they see this stuff. I really, really, really rely on collaborators. Like I love when a director is like, the play's about this. I'm like, well, the play is about or like actors ask me something, or actors are moved by something, and I realize I hit a pulse. But it takes me a while to really know what my work is. It's why I'm so protective of it for a long time, because I don't want people to name it too early.
Yeah. And at the risk of naming it, I should, I think that the thing I said about systemic poverty, that you said, or that we said, is also not the play is about blank, because I think that play and all of the plays you described are about many, many things. And one of the other things that I think is reflected, particularly in the scene we're about to hear from, is also a kind of tyranny of representation. One of the things I really love about this play is that it's about a young person finding power and agency, right? Finding her own voice and coming to a place where she feels a sense of personal empowerment about what she's going to do next. But that one of the things she's fighting is this specter of a media representation of what beauty is, and media representation of what kind of person is the kind of person you mentioned before about the people who don't fall in love. I'd love to ask you, because this is a scene about the creative process, about finding a story, about working through something, and a character who's finding her voice through the practice of her art. And which is kind of what we're talking about. So I'm curious, like, I know that it's sometimes dangerous for writers to be too self-aware about what they're doing, as you've articulated already. But is there something about the activity of finding the story, finding the voice, that you feel is demonstrated not just in the scene, but something that you've cultivated over the course of the way you generate story?
Yes. I don't know. I think I'm like Rajiv, and that the first theater I ever experienced was a church. I was raised like hyper Baptist, was never all that into it, but I was very into all the rituals, and I was very into the sort of performativity of a Baptist church. I used to go to churches where people would like catch the Holy Ghost and fall on the floor, and I just like thought it was all bull, but I loved it because I loved that people were agreeing to do a thing, sort of knowing what would happen on the other side, but also like not knowing at all, because they just needed to hold on to that because it was what got those people through. And it's something that I deeply respect, and that like I have learned to love in a way that is probably not the way my mother hoped, but it is such a severe respect in a way that I can get washed out of it at times and people get me, in my opinion. But I think that the thing that taught me is that like you're just doing it and hoping, and like somewhere in there you weirdly find yourself. I think my mother, when we were very young, my mother was also very young. And so she didn't have things that she believed in. She just had work and children. And in her, I mean, she's in her late 40s now, and we're all adults. And so she's very much like refinding who she is and who she wants to be in the world in a way that like, I just got to do it because I didn't have responsibilities. And it's so interesting to watch that she just makes choices. She's like, all right, this is it. I'm gonna do this. And she works at that choice, and she's like, oh, that wasn't it. And then she's like, all right, this, I'm gonna, I'm gonna do this. And then she's like, that was fun. I liked that. I think I like that. And that there's this leap of faith in a way. And I think that like, that's actually what process really is, that you're not quite sure where you're grabbing at. You might know that something feels good, that kind of looks good, that like when you do this, you go, ooh. But there's a ritual to the choice to write. And I think that what you sort of find on the other side is like some part of you that you hadn't quite seen yet. And that like I love the theory of writing plays. I want to do it forever. I never know what I'm doing until I've done it. And that is, I think that that's all there is. And so much of Kiana in that play, and like figuring out who that character is like doing a lot of self-work because she's like me and not like me at all because she's so much more brave. But I think in trying to figure out what the relationship is between her and the character of Natalie, who is just sort of just a magical being, both in the world and in the play that I've made. I was like, why? The question has always been, why is she there? Why is she there? What purpose does she serve? And I think, artists like that who like build careers and represent this sort of wonderful trajectory of empathy and intelligence and like great privilege. They seem like they're just out there doing the work. And even if you don't see yourself in those people, even if at the end of the day they don't give you the things that you need to be here, that path is a light. And I think that there's something about the Kiana in this play that's like, maybe she's not it, but she is something and I see it. And I can't put my finger on it yet, but I'm gonna keep working. In this totally weird, strange way. But I'm gonna keep working and someday I'll probably be whoever I'm supposed to be.